What's up, everybody? We are, I don't know.
We don't know. We're lost without our Barbara Walters.
I was going to say,
Codie.
Cody's not here today.
Pour out the liquor.
Pour out the tequila.
That's not a good liquor sound.
That sounds like you're
Getting an ultrasound.
Yeah. It does sound like an ultrasound.
Tell me you had kids without telling me you had kids. Right.
Well, this is Ashley Chia, mother of 4.
Hey, this is Melanie Fiona, mom of 2.
Felicia Latour, mama of 2.
This is Codie. This is the ghost of Codie. I'm not here.
This is Codie. You ain't all over. And I have
Nah,
2 twins and one boy. And I am the owner of the creator of Black Love.
The creator. Why you do my friend like that? The creator.
The creator.
This is Random Happenings with the Mama's Den.
Randoms.
So when I moved to New York, I moved there with $6,000. I saved up my money. I did the math about how much my rent cost. And I was like, I could stay here for a year. I think I paid like $500 because it was a 3-bedroom apartment.
Oh my God. I was like, what?
Girl, this was 14 years ago.
Oh my God.
It was a 3-bedroom apartment. We lived down the street from Pratt, which is an art school. So we lived in like the apartments around there always had like cheaper pricing, student pricing.
Because of the students.
So it was a nice 3-bedroom. We were on top of a bodega. And I took over somebody's their rent that was like having an emotional breakdown, and then they needed to leave school, and so they were like, "You need to move into his room." And then the other dude ended up moving out too, so there was just 2 of us in the 3-bedroom apartments. Like when we had guests come, they could come like stay in the other bedroom.
This is a luxurious life as a young woman in New York.
But I had $6,000 in the first 4 months there. I could not find a job, so I knew like I had to budget my money. And then I finally got a job working at a restaurant, and then I got a contract working at a school teaching ballet to little kids. Yeah, that was my job. It was like my dream job. And then I just was kind of broke because I kept buying sneakers. I used to pay
Girl,
my
you
rent.
irresponsible.
Now let's get to the real conversation.
I was very financially irresponsible, guys. This is not a secret at all. Okay, I had a check into cash photo ID when I was in high school. That means I was getting my
Checking the cash.
Yes, getting my checks early. Like they would give you money before your check came.
Almost like an IOU.
It was like a loan.
Yeah. I don't know nothing about this,
girl, because you wasn't ghetto.
But you can take, you can do that at work. I mean, I think you can do that at work too, but but it's you borrow from yourself.
Yeah, and then you pay how much interest back.
Yeah,
it's a scam to make poor people poor. It was just a hustle in the hood that they were only located in the hood. Check cashing places. Yeah, and you could cash your check early. You had to have like a history of checks. Be like, this is how much I normally get. And then they give you, let's say you normally get $500 and you're like, I need $500. They give you $500, but guess what? You got paid like $650 back.
Oh, right. It's like an advance on your money.
Yeah, but it's bad. Like,
but what happens if you don't pay back?
Girl, what you think?
Jail.
You could go to jail.
Straight to jail.
Or garnish wages. Like if you get another job.
Sound like child support.
Right.
I'm like, this is ghetto. You like, first of all, this is my money to begin with.
It's theirs now.
Did your guys' parents ever do layaway?
Girl, yes.
That's oh my God. I'll be like, Mom, can you please add this to the layaway part?
At Lazarus, did y'all have a Lazarus?
Girl,
no, I grew up in Canada, remember.
Y'all didn't have a Lazarus?
What is that? It sounds like Dillard's.
Lazarus was like... No, it was a Jewish...
You don't know Lazarus?
Y'all didn't have Lazarus?
Lazarus and Dylan be kicking it together.
No, Lazarus...
don't bring Marshall into it.
No, Lazarus was like upscale, like what is that store called?
Neiman's?
No, maybe like not as high class as Neiman's, but like
Nordstrom?
Dillard's.
Yeah,
Dillard's is it.
No, but they had like furniture. It was a huge department store. Like, back in the day, department stores were the business.
JCPenney?
Like 3 layers. It was a little more high class than JCPenney, baby.
Sears?
No, it's giving Nordstrom.
It's giving Nordstrom.
Yes, but they have furniture.
Furniture.
It was nice, girl. Noise. And that's where you go, but they had a layaway.
Oh, I love layaway.
Yes.
I used to think we were so rich. And then when that date comes up, I'm like, Mom, where's the stuff? Couldn't get it. I'm like, you just made us go through all that? Evil. My mom stayed doing it. She was like, well, I just wanted to teach you guys how to dream at a young age. I'm like, thanks.
You know what? something worked because you dream big and you do things. True. So come on.
This is very true.
Wait, why'd you ask me about Chia paying my rent? You got a problem with my man paying my rent?
No, I think that we should definitely elaborate on that conversation.
My man.
Well, wait, where did that come from?
The internet.
No, one of the city girls, I think. I think.
Okay, so the Gabrielle Union said that, I think we should definitely talk about this.
Go ahead.
Said that her and her husband split their finances 50-50, and he has $100 million. And everybody on the internet was like, why are you splitting your bills with a man that has $100 million?
Never.
And she was talking about how she operates from a space of scarcity. And honestly, I was very surprised that she was having this conversation.
Really?
Yeah. Well, like not in a negative way, but just in a way of like, oh shit. Like,
she's a real person.
I guess a real person, but I don't know. I'm just like the anxiety of it and having a man with $100 million.
I mean, it makes sense though. If I don't know if she came from money though, so I don't really know her financial history. Did she talk about that or not?
I don't think so. I feel like it was just a clip.
But she used to work at Payless, so I'm gonna just assume either that was just like a job that she had for kicks and giggles, or she needed a job. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I feel like for people that don't come from money, I understand her having that anxiety around money. And she was saying that she supports other people too. So
yeah, that was the part.
Yes, her and her husband support other family members. And I do that as well. So I get her feeling anxiety around her money. Like, it's not just me I'm taking care of. Like, I got to make sure this check comes in because I pay for so-and-so's bills. I think I was just mostly surprised that she splits her bills with her husband, because I'm all for splitting bills when you have to, meaning like if you know your financial situation, you and your spouse, like, or boyfriend or whomever you live with, and you know you both don't have a lot of money and it makes sense to split the bills, that makes total sense. But I think I'm very old school.
Yeah, I feel like I am too.
I think I am. Like, I just feel like the man should pay the bills if he can. If he can't, then it's different, because me and Chia coming up. Actually, that's a lie. When me and Chia first started dating, he already had a house. And so I told him, I said, I'm not paying no bills here because you already had this house. So you were going to pay these bills whether we're together or not. If you couldn't afford this house, then you wouldn't have it. So that means you can afford it. So you don't need my help.
You are so funny. I feel like I'm like, okay, pay the mortgage. And then I'll go to the grocery store and, just like little shit.
Yes.
Like, I like to take the kids on adventures. I mean, obviously it's not my situation now, but... Yeah. I don't want to pay for that damn mortgage. I'm the one who keeps this motherfucker clean and restocked.
Jared and I, the way we describe it, he always describes it. He's like, I pay for our living, you pay for our life.
Yep.
And that's
I love that. Same. Explain that to us.
So pretty much the way that we like, it's similar to that. It's like we have a house together, yet where do we both make individual money, and we do come in quite similarly as far as financially and what we can do. And the nature of our business is up and down, different seasons. Yeah. It's like certain times I might be super, super up and he's building, or vice versa. So I tend to take care of the house.
Yeah.
And everything associated with it.
Yeah.
Anything the kids need, anything that's all them Amazon packages, that's all me.
Yeah.
Okay. Socks, underwear, diapers, wipes, toilet paper, eggs, all that stuff I'm handling because I know the necessities and I've got it. However, like bigger things for the house, when it's coming to mortgages, taxes, these types of things, it all kind of balances out.
Right.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
For how we contribute financially.
Yes.
But best believe, if we had $100 million in the bank, I'm not working. I'm working for fun.
Girl, I'm
working for pleasure, okay? Right. I'm working for pleasure, and I'm not here counting nobody's money. But if this was my situation, if we had $100 million in the bank, baby, I'm eating a acai bowl every day. Girl,
$15.
For $15 and then some. Add the extra chia seeds, please.
A little hemp on there.
A little hemp.
No, Chia and I run our house the exact same way. He pays all the bills, but it's always been like that. Even when I first moved in with him, I would pay for everything for Amira. And it was like, you already had this house, but we didn't have the daughter. So that's the extra expense. So I would take care of that. So all of her diapers, her clothes, I've always paid for that. I pay for, like, if we go on trips, I usually pay for everything. Like the whole time we're there, like all the food, whatever's extra, buy plane tickets, whatever games. I buy all the Christmas gifts. Like I pay for all of those things, but Chia pays for like, he pays all of the bills in our home, in our mortgage, but I also pay the mortgage back home that my mom lives in. So I pay that, and then we pay my mom like monthly, just give her money. That comes out of my checking account. And I pay for my mom's car. I pay the car note on it, the insurance, like all of that. That comes out of my bank account because it's my mom, and I just feel like I should. But Chia would, but I just feel like we're not in that season right now where he can just pay everything.
Yeah.
But to be clear, if, like you said, if he's down, I'm up, we're going to split things. Yeah. Just because it's about our family, and it's not about like man, woman, anything like that. It's about us as a family. It doesn't matter. But if I had $100 million, Chia wouldn't be paying any
that
bills.
part.
Yeah.
It's not really about, it's like if somebody in this house has $100 million,
we
as a collective,
we have $100 million.
We as the juror.
I'm not making my man work. I keep telling Chia, if I'm super rich, he could be a stay-at-home dad, honey. Girl. He could just like flaunder through
Jared keeps
fields.
asking me. Jared's less like, you want me to be at home with the kids? Bet.
Right.
Like, you want to go do this? Fine, I will stay home.
Right.
It's just the funniest thing. But I mean, I think it is important to understand that, like, I think the dynamics do change, and they vary from like, you know, like situation to situation. Something that I saw online the other day was about stay-at-home moms. And it's just like, what a setup that a stay-at-home mom is not considered a real job.
Girl, and a job you can't clock out of.
Yet a nanny is considered a profession.
Yes.
And so there's resources that need to be available to pay someone to come do this thing that moms do every single day so that they can still go work another job.
Yeah.
Girl.
It's a riot. When I thought about that, I saw that online. I was like, what?
Girl, I said the same thing to Chia.
My head exploded. I was like, I never thought about it that way, but it's the truth.
Oh, girl, I did from day one. When Chia and I started dating, and then I was working up until Mira was like, I want to say like 3 or 4. But I used to take her to work with me. And
at what job?
Shout out to one of my ex-friend's mother, Barb Noon. She had a home healthcare agency, and she's amazing because she let me work there. I did her HR, and she was like, you can bring Amira to the office. And I had my own office girl. I used to breastfeed her. I used to put her under the table, be rocking her and doing like background checks on people and be telling them I have to fire them because they forgot to tell us that they killed somebody in 1998. Child. Girl. What? Yes. People would do that. They would
you forgot to tell us you killed somebody.
You know, they had a little murder charge on their background. Like, oh, you can't work here. Sorry. But yeah, I used to bring her to work with me. But when her company, she closed it down for a little while because she was switching it to another location. And so then I was at home, and Chia was like, you can stay home, because I was like, this is an actual job. If I don't do it, guess what? We have to pay someone to do this. So I recognized very early, like, this is a job.
Absolutely.
Because if I'm doing it for free, if I can't do it, then we're paying somebody.
Yeah. And I don't really like when men have this perspective of like, well, you're the mom. That's what you're supposed to do. No. Damn it. You the dad. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I'm really happy we had this conversation because,
No, I definitely think that there's a financial responsibility generally that I think it's a conversation for sure. And it's definitely, everybody's comfort level is different. My personal philosophy is that, like, we are a collective. If we are a family, if we are married, if we are together, and we are in this family sharing these kids, we have to have identifiable responsibilities for what it is. But that doesn't mean that I can't come to you and be like, hey, the nanny came in a little higher this month because you worked 25 extra hours.
Yeah.
Right, that part.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, fortunately, I have a partner who's not adverse to being like, no, I'm a throw in on that, of course, because it's this person is helping watch our kids so that we, including me, can work.
Right.
But finances are a funny thing.
Yeah. It could be tricky.
It can be really tricky because a lot of times too, and I think I speak from the traditional space of the patriarchy and how men have used money and being the breadwinner to oppress and like belittle women and undervalue their contributions to the house.
Yeah.
I remember talking to my therapist once, and I was telling her, I was like, yeah, you know, men, they just think that they can just work and that's like all they need to do. And that as long as they're doing that, then like that's what it was. And she was just like, oh, you don't know how many men. She's like, there's like a whole study where men invest in their careers for most of their lives. They don't work on the relationships with their wives. They don't work on the relationships with their children. And then they get older and their children despise them because they never had a present father. And then their wives are, I'm over you. I'm divorcing you now because I don't want to put up with your bullshit and I'm taking half. Mm-hmm. And they end up miserable. Mm-hmm. Or they end up going and getting a 21-year-old woman that they can just buy with their money that they have. I always keep that in mind because I've never wanted that to be my situation. Yeah. I think establishing myself as a businesswoman before I found my husband and establishing a career for myself before I had any sort of responsibilities for anything or anyone else made me step into a situation being like, I'm gonna be all right either way.
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And sometimes my husband has to remind me, like, you don't have to think like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you needed it, I would make sure we're gonna have it for both of us, you know? Yeah. Which is reassuring because I think subconsciously I'm always like, well, I don't ever want to be without and I don't ever want to have to rely on anybody. But it's like, that is my husband. There's a certain level of trust, obviously, hopefully implicit trust that comes where you're just like, okay, that's my partner. I don't have to feel on the defense about my security in this situation.
Yeah.
You know? And so fortunately, I do have a partner that's like that, but I know women very much so that are like, nope, he's never going to have any access to my money. My money is my money. And we still both operate that way. He still has his own money and I still have my own money, but we use our money for our household together. But, you know, that division of, you know, prenups and all that stuff. How do we feel about prenups?
I don't know. That's what I was going to ask you, Fee, because you're newly dating. In your life or in your future, like when you're, let's just take whoever you're dating out of the equation, just like any man. Mm-hmm. How do you approach those financial conversations and like discuss that? You know what I mean? Like, this is what I plan on paying for. If we moved in together, this is what I would want to do. Or like, do you do that?
Well, yeah, I do that. And I think because with me and the children's father, we had very similar situation to how Mel's is like, okay, you pay for the living and then I pay for the light. And it literally, when you break down the numbers, it's like, it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You know? And then if there's like, if I need to get a sitter, it's like, okay, I'll pay for the sitter. If you need to go and do the thing, then you pay for that. You know what I mean? And that works for us. So when I'm going into new situations, I'm like, yeah, this is what's going to work for me. And this is what has worked for me. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because I'm like, yeah, I'm not splitting mortgage with you.
Would you do a prenup?
Like for myself?
Yeah. Or just, or either like if you, let's say you're getting married and you know, you have a lot of money too, and your partner has a lot of money. Would you go into it wanting a prenup, or what if he asked you for a prenup? Would you sign one?
I would probably sign it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, whatever you had before. Okay. Actually, I was just watching something and they were
I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking. I think
with so somebody was getting or somebody got divorced, and the prenup, because the money that the man had before and then turned around and like invested the money and did other adventures with her still around, it was like, well, that's still all of mine. So it would have to be written properly. Like what you had before this, all right, cool. Anything that we are working on together and you would, you know, moving forward, then I feel like, yeah, that's fair. You know? Whether it's my ass encouraging you, whatever the hell it is.
Listen, we know so many stories.
Yeah. And so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know. I know too many stories of women who've helped build a man's wealth and then he leaves her with nothing.
Yes.
Oh, we
have
to fight.
One of my girlfriends, I have seen her help build this man, and literally the way treats her like a fucking dog. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is crazy. Yeah. But that also, I feel like money gets weird when you're separated and you're no longer, you know what I mean? No longer sucking a dick. Like, look, call a spade, okay? Y'all know I'm the inappropriate one. But you know,
is that all you got to do to get your money back? No, I'm kidding. Come on over, player.
Yeah,
but I
don't want to split mortgage with a man.
No,
I'm just not interested in it.
I think that so I'm trying to put myself in a position of power, right? Or like thinking about having a lot of money where I pay for everything and my partner doesn't pay for anything, but they still contribute. I kind of can see how people feel a sense of entitlement or like,
yeah.
I hate that, but I can. Like, I can kind of see how you come home and you're like, I pay for everything. Like, I don't ask anything else of me kind of energy when people have that energy. Like, I guess I understand that, but I feel like that's just like an unevolved way of thinking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it seems pretty logical to be, only because like I remember when Chi and I were both working outside of the home. And then we would both come home and I would be like, why I gotta cook dinner? I just worked, outside the house too. Like, why am I volunteered as the person who's doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I could cook better than him. So that's why. But still, like, I felt the same way he did. Like, now I have to work again. You know what I mean? And so it's hard because when you're working outside the home and you come home, you have an expectation of your partner, but they've been at home working all day with those kids too.
Girl.
And they just don't understand that level of like, now I want you to tap out. But it's so crazy. Chia would come home and I'll be like, I just need an hour to myself. And like, I would throw the baby at him. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I got to go. Mm-hmm. But then when I started working outside of the home is when I understood that feeling of like, as soon as you get in the door, you're like, damn, like this is another job.
No, but I feel like it's the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I remember feeling like that. Yeah. Because when I wasn't working as much when I had peace. And I was just doing makeup, but I was with her the majority of the time.
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing makeup, then we would obviously hire somebody. But I remember being with her from like morning to night, and their father at the time worked a lot. Mm-hmm. So I just remember being like, I'm tired. He's like, well, I'm tired. I've been working all day. And I'm like, me too. And it was really hard for him to understand that.
It is.
I feel like once we separated is when he was like, okay, I get it now. And like is more appreciative of understanding that like it's a job.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. I'm like, I love my children. I'm like, but do you think I want to talk to a 2-year-old all damn day?
Yeah.
And repeat the same thing over and over and over?
You know what I realized? I was just talking to one of my friends about this the other day. I think when we eliminate an issue for someone, it's really hard for them to understand. I was talking to her about how she tends to pick up for other people, meaning like if her husband is slacking or if someone else is slacking, a coworker, she'll just do the job for him. Like her end goal is just to get things done in the house. She's not going to pinpoint it. But I told her with doing that, she doesn't allow people to see where they're falling short. Mm-hmm. And when we don't see where we're falling short, if someone doesn't say, hey, like, I don't like that you do that. Like if you're the more vocal partner and you always tell your partner when they're doing something wrong and they don't tell you when you're doing something wrong, you think that you're perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when you don't point these things out to people or allow something to kind of fall apart, it doesn't allow people to understand like how important something is.
Yeah.
And I think that as partners, we do that. Like, we'll just do it. We'll do it for them. And so they don't understand that correlation when they come home. If the dinner's ready, if everything's done, they're like, oh, well, you're fully capable of being with this child all day and doing laundry and cooking for me and putting the babies to sleep. Like you're capable of doing it. Yeah. And we know it needs to get done. Yeah. But if women or whomever's at home start being like, oh, I couldn't cook because I had the baby all day and I just wasn't able to, even if you could, they start to understand like I can't always do this and this is hard for me, or it actually takes an extra effort for me to do that and this.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to like leave a hole for people to fall in to realize like, I have to help this person.
Yeah. And it's also like, just because I can do it doesn't mean that I want to do it.
Exactly.
Not every single time, you know?
Exactly.
I feel like it's also like when you're parenting and you're enabling the child, like, oh, let me do it for you. Like constantly. Yep. I feel like it's the same with adults. Is like you get to an age and you get to a space where you don't even know, you don't think it's an issue. You don't have like the proper skills to like, not coping skills, but like
identify and understand that it's an issue.
You don't even know how to get yourself out of this hole because everybody just keep catching your ass and doesn't let you just fall through the cracks sometimes. Like it's okay, you know? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I definitely feel like doing that with adults too is like,
oh, for sure.
Have to. Girl, I'm so quick to be like, I ain't like that. I need you to do that. I'm tired. Like, I have to, or I'm gonna be an asshole.
For sure.
I was on my way here and I was talking to my girlfriend and I was like, what's the rest of your day look like? And she's like, oh, I'm just leaving the gym now. She's like, I'm gonna go home and start to think about dinner. And I was like, it's fucking noon. Girl. And I'm sitting here being like, this, I'll be honest with you, this is this thing, feeding myself and other people every single day is a huge stress in my life. Same. I mean, this sounds like first world problems. I understand. However, when you have to think about feeding people every single day, you got to make sure you have the groceries. You got to have the time. It's the time. It's like, in order for me to have dinner ready by the time Kaya is the only one who's really on a strict schedule. Like, she eats at 6. If she's not eating at 6, she's tearing up the house. So by 6 o'clock, something has to be ready for her, because she's going to wake up. That's the end of her second nap. So she needs to wake up and have food. So already by that time, I'm like, oh, well, I got to prepare what she's got to eat. But then that delays what I got to make for the rest of the family. And I sit there and I often do go back and forth in my mind about this. I'm just like, and this is not a gender role thing. No. This is literally capability. Just like you said, I cook better than Chia. I can cook better than Jared on any given day. But also, am I enabling the idea that he's not capable of rising to the occasion of learning how to cook? Yes. Because if we could share the responsibilities of cooking twice a week, if he could cook twice, I will do the rest of the 5. Yeah. Girl. You know what I mean? And so I thought about it and I'm like, at what point do we start to say, no, I'm going to need you to learn how to do that. Absolutely. Just like I had to learn how to do it to provide for this family. You know,
because you didn't just be born knowing how to cook. I didn't just be
born knowing how to cook. I had to figure it out. I had to Google and be like, all right, Dijon mustard. Okay, great. You know what I mean? Like, I think about that often, is that I do believe that in partnership, when it comes to the household, both parents should be aware of what their strengths are, for sure, what their weaknesses are, and also what their capabilities are. Girl. Because none of us are inept to be able to go on Google and follow some instructions to make a pasta. Baby. And so, because I can do that without the internet at this point, doesn't mean you can't without it. Yeah. So I've already bought all the groceries. Everything you need is already here. Maybe you cook dinner tonight.
Yeah. Or if he puts a frozen pizza in there, we don't care. You cooked.
But then let me tell you what happens. Jared's like, immediately, no. His answer is no. Really? He is so hardline. He's like, nope, I'm not cooking.
That sounds like he will go
and he'll just buy dinner.
Okay,
but and then complain about how much money we spend on ordering out every night.
Like, oh my God. That's the worst. I'm like, you don't want to do it. But so what's
the trade-off?
Really?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, Jared will not cook.
Thing.
Oh, Chia cooks. I definitely have to give him some kudos, because the 2 things that I said he has to learn how to do is do our daughter's hair, and he has to learn how to cook. Because I was like, if I die, you ain't gonna have my little black babies out here eating nasty ass food and walk around with their hair looking crazy. Like, that was just baseline for me when I was pregnant. I was like, 3 things. Actually, do not feed my babies pork. I don't care if they end up eating meat. They can never have pork. Comb my baby's hair and learn how to feed them. Like, just basic things. Like, I always cooked, but Chia, same thing you said. You are a smart, grown man.
Capable.
Every job that you've had, you had to learn on site. It's not like you were born and you said, I'm insurance man. Right. You had to learn how to do your job and compute and do it. All of these estimates. You can learn how to cook. You can follow instructions. And he did.
And I think that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that that's true for anything, but it's just the desire, the willingness, and the quality of your life. Yeah. Because also, if Jared's going to start resenting shit because he cooks and he's miserable, and I don't want to be around that either.
Are you happy doing it though?
Oh, I'm miserable doing it.
Then he could be miserable too.
So the thing about it is,
sharing the misery.
We love company. Misery loves company.
But you know what you just said, though? I just want to call that out. It's so interesting. I feel like women do this.
We do this.
You are so concerned about him being miserable cooking, but you're miserable, but you care more about his misery than your own.
It's so true. Because I got these kids.
And because you love him.
And I love him. And also, I know that there are things that I'm not doing. I'm not going out in that garden.
Yeah.
But you gonna go out there, he's gonna go out there, and he's going to wipe our outdoor patio on his hands and knees. I'm not doing that.
You know, you do post him in the garden a lot.
He loves his garden, and that's his thing. And so he does that. Good. He's growing food for us. Yeah. It's fine.
He mows the lawn.
So it's a trade-off. Okay, this is a good trade-off. Yeah, because I want to be getting down. No, allergies out.
No, I'm not doing any yard work. I'm not doing any yard work. It's not happening.
Okay, so then that's fair though, because I think that's important to mention that he's doing things that you never want to do.
No, that's
his hard line. Like, I never want to cook, and you never want to do yard work.
And that is why it's a trade-off. That is why I understand that boundary for like not pushing that thing. But at the end of the day, a skill is a skill. And truly, if I'm out or I'm gone, which I travel for work, All I know is that I got to make sure that he has what he needs to feed these kids. It's definitely probably going to be a cheese pizza for Cam. Absolutely. He's maybe going to be avocado toast for Kaya because it's easy. Fruits. He can make eggs. He's actually very good at making eggs. But it's amazing to me that his creative brain, because he is very creative and he dreams and he can imagine things, but it just does not translate to food. Yeah. And he loves good food. Yeah. But he's just like, I have no desire to figure out how to make it.
Well,
he likes to grill. He will grill.
Men always want to grill something.
He'll barbecue.
I swear they throw some on
it. Put
a
little thing and you're just like, all right, see you next
Put a little seasonings on it. Like, I grill. Can you make some sides? Like,
right. Did you make the mashed potato?
Right. Like, it's just a bunch of meat.
Yeah. Chicken for dinner.
Just chicken wings.
Thanks, buddy.
But I think it is something that's really interesting. And now, even relating it back to the kids, now I think even the way we parent our children, I don't know, Fee, you be making these kids work. I think it's interesting. Even I see that for Cameron, those things where I'm like, oh, I'll do it for you. And it's like, And recently he's been asking, can I? Oh, by the way, Jared will wash the dishes and clean the kitchen better than me.
He'll cook your dinner
amazing.
then. What?
This is just specific.
I'm like, it all comes out.
No.
So I'm starting to feel less and less bad about this.
But what I'm saying is we're both capable of that. Just like we're both capable of cooking food. This is not about shared responsibilities.
And makes the plates for our family, but he don't cook.
Steams my clothes every day.
No, he definitely does not. No, there's a difference between shared responsibilities and capability of responsibilities.
Well, he ain't capable of cooking, girl. Let it go.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't push it. Poison. You want to bring up my misery. But I see it in the kids. And like, Cameron's been asking, he's like, Mom, what chores can I do around the house?
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, you are asking for chores?
Wait, you ain't gave him no chores yet?
No, I did. He washed the dishes the other day. He wiped down all the counters. He went in the room.
To him asking.
Oh, yeah. Oh. But now he's asking to do that. Before I'd have to tell him, hey, do this. Oh, take your plate, put it in the dishwasher, do these things.
He's seeking responsibility.
And now he's seeking responsibilities. Yeah. And I low-key love it. And I look at that as a testament to, one, the fact that he sees his dad contributing in ways that seem normal.
Yep.
That he doesn't feel like, oh, my dad just comes home and sits on the couch and doesn't do anything. So that's what I get to do.
Yeah.
I love that our generation of kids that are now growing up are seeing more active parents in shared responsibilities. And they don't feel adverse to or being above doing something or helping out. What's traditional male or female roles, whatever.
Mm-hmm. No, I love that.
So I've been loving that he's been asking to help out.
Juju asked the other day, she was like, when can I start washing dishes? I was like, today.
Like, get up in there.
The thing about them washing dishes, though,
girl,
you're going to have to go back and get a couple spots because they're going to miss it.
Girl.
I told you guys, right? That I used to do everything for Amira, partly because I have control issues. And I was just like, we'll just do it for her. It was like 2 against 1. Yep. So me and Chia just did everything for her. And I feel like she was like around 7 or 8 years old. And I realized she was starting to become extremely entitled. Mm-hmm. And that's when we changed the game on her. And I don't parent any of my kids the way I parented Amira at all.
Yeah.
I take their clothes, I separate them into sections, and I hand everybody their pile of clothes. You fold yours, you fold yours, you fold yours. I don't care what that shit look like. Put it in a drawer. Because I realized like it's just I was doing way more than they're doing younger than them. My mom was a single mom
absolutely.
With 4 kids. We were cooking dinner. We were, first of all, every night it was Ashley wash and Rebecca dry. Or she would say, bathroom, kitchen. One of you do the bathroom, one of you do the kitchen. We cleaned our house every day. It wasn't a once a week thing. We had those chores every day. It was like, go wipe down that bathroom. It better be clean. We one bathroom for 5 people in that house.
Oh yeah, you got to maintain.
Yeah, she was like, no. So every night somebody had to clean the toilet, clean the tub out loud, and we would switch. Or we do the dishes together, who's washing, who's drying. But it was always group activity and always chores. And there was never no we eat and just get up from the table. Like, my mom would have chopped our feet and hands off.
Girl.
She's like, I cook, you clean these dishes. And that's how it always was. And that's kind of how but that is how we've been in our home. My children have always had chores. It's just, it is how it is.
I feel like Peace and Zen find so much joy in helping too.
Yeah.
Like now they're like, if I tell them, okay, can you go and do this? But if I'm like, can you help mommy do this? They're like, oh yeah, I'll do it. But now I'm like, peace, drag that basket downstairs, separate the clothes. You know, I'm like, you can do that. And then have your brother put him in the thing. And they're both like this with the little, like, what's the detergent? And trying to put it in there. Over. I'm like, you got it.
Yep.
I'm like,
but that's so good.
Girl.
Why, Amir, I went to her bathroom and I was like, you need to clean your bathroom. And she was like, I'm the only one using it. I said, first of all,
let us refer to page 786 of the Book of Donna.
Smacker.
What we do? No, Donna was. I told you about the time that my mom took all my stuff and threw it outside the front door in garbage bags because she was like, I don't care what your room is. Your room is in my house and you don't pay no bills here. So you're going to keep your room in my house, which is technically my room, clean.
Right. And I don't want to see that damn mess. Even after they brush their teeth in the morning, I go in there right after and I'm like, why is there toothpaste in my sink?
Girl.
I'm like, get that toothpaste. I'm like, get your little hand and put it down. I'm like, that's disgusting. And take the towel and wipe off my counter.
Yes.
That's right. No, I'm like,
that's what I had to tell her. I was like, but even that, I'm like, you don't want to have these habits. Like, this is your space. I was like, you should not want to be amongst filth.
Yeah.
Girl, you know, I gave it to her and walked the next day, walked in there. That room was spick and span clean. Yeah. Because I also hit her with the, you know what, Amir, I'm going to just do like my mom does. And I started having to tell these kids, get your jacket off the floor, da-da-da. So I was like, you know what? There's a new rule. I'm going to stop telling you guys and I'm going to just pick it up and throw it away. I mean, the way they scurry through the house and pick their stuff up. Listen. But I was like, for now on, if I find somebody's stuff on the floor, I'm going to stop telling you. I'm just going to throw it in the trash. And I started throwing their stuff in the trash and they would open like, why is my coat in here? Because it was on the floor.
Yeah. Peace is little, but she's the one.
Donna would be proud.
Thank you, Donna.
I'm so big with Pete. Well, because you have the 4 girls, but like, I'm so big on, obviously it's like, okay, boys and girls be clean, but there's just something about a little girl like needing to be clean. I'm like, Peace Marie, please. Like, why? The basket is right there. Just put it in there. And every time she's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, no, you're a little girl.
Right.
I need you to do this. But then surprisingly, Zen just has toys everywhere, but he'll like put his clothes back in the drawer.
Interesting.
I'm like, this is very
My thing is, can you pull your underwear out your pants like every day? Like, girl.
And the socks out the pants.
Listen to me.
And untuck the damn sock.
I tell Cameron every single time, I'm like, you see this underwear in these pants, separate.
Girl.
And so what I do is if I go to do his laundry and I go to, well, now he's doing his own laundry with my supervision.
That's cute.
But now what I do is if I open up that bin, I have him stand there and I have him separate every single one and put it in. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
Absolutely.
Socks inside out, all the things, make them right side out. Everything now, and I'm gonna stand here and watch you do it.
Yes.
And Peace was like, why? I'm like, because it's not getting cleaned properly, little girl.
But also, when we do it for them, they don't understand the amount of work that goes into it. So now when you make them do it themselves, they understand, and then they start to develop the habits that all of us have of that cleanliness and being aware of other people.
Appreciation.
Yes,
of it.
but also I think it translates into people that stay at hotels that just like, you know, who are just like really trashy and leave, and they don't care because they're like, oh, somebody's coming to clean it. Or people at restaurants that are just like rude. Yeah. Like I feel like all those behaviors come from people that never had to clean up after themselves.
Home training.
Yeah. Somebody was cleaning up after you. Don't understand. Like you still don't treat people this way, whether it's your mom, a stranger. Like, be mindful of the people who are after you, behind you, or cleaning up after you. Like, that's super rude.
That's how I feel about the plain bathrooms.
Oh, girl.
Them nasty ass places. I'm like, why? Why do you think that in this small space with all these people, you're going to be the person that's going to piss all over the floor and just leave this shit like that?
Why do they always pee on the floor?
Because men are disgusting.
Oh, God.
Because it's men, it's not women.
I don't even know how we got here.
I don't know how we got
here. I don't know. It just all came from not having $100 million. That's all I know.
Well, thank you for listening to this random episode. This was really good.